Hey smokers, Drago1 here. Today we're going to be essentially and oddly building the Windows 95 machine. Now, I tried to put together as many spare parts as I had to put what you have in front of us together so far. We have the 1200 megahertz AMD Duron processor on this old board. This is exactly the same board roughly as the current Windows 98 machine. But it's the only thing that I have that supports what I needed to support. I've got an Nvidia Riva 128 here, got a random modem slash sound card that's kind of old, so it'll work driver wise, I'm hoping. Really old Ethernet card as well. I just threw this thing together and I've been trying some things, mainly doing a lot of testing with Windows 98. So is this going to work with Windows 95? Well, the only way we can find out is if we test it. Now this is a Windows 95 disk that says with USB support, and it says it has free games on it. I'm assuming this is OSR2 because OSR2 is the one that had the USB support, so I'm going to assume that's what we need. I have this random Windows XP hard drive I'm going to use as the main, hard drive. So that means I got to disconnect this test one. So all the things we need right now are currently in place, as far as I know. Let's take a look here. The only thing I need to do is put the Windows 95 disk in the drive, and then let's go ahead and... Oh, I didn't have it plugged in. Okay. Okay. There it goes. Now, it's actually pretty loud. I think one of the reasons why I stopped using this was the fan on it was really horrible, or something with this motherboard made it pretty terrible. Now it's going to want to start Windows XP, but I'm not going to let it. Alright, so now this is a kind of a newer board than what I should be using. I really don't have a lot of period correct boards for this kind of stuff. So I don't know if you can see it, but the CD drive is... There it is. Okay, it's way over there. I'm going to put our legit disk in there. And let's make sure the boot device is all the way up. I don't think the Windows 95 disk can boot off of itself. We're going to find out. It is one of the newer disks, so we'll see. Now, this board is new enough to be a Windows XP board, I want to say, so it might just start booting XP. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, the other thing is the CMOS battery in this is dead, so that's really not going to help. And, of course, we're suffering from the same issue we did with the other machine, with the constantly detecting RAID controller. I know I need to properly configure that or something. And as you probably guessed, something didn't fucking work, so it started to boot off of Windows XP, and this is, I think, what happens when that happens. So we'll have to start up, I don't know if ironically is the best word, but I'm going to use it. We're going to have to start up off of a Windows 98 disk just so we can get a computer started with CD-ROM support so that we can install Windows 95. Why is it so hard to install Windows 95? I really don't fucking know. Why is it still doing this? Is it because I have the other drive installed? Fuck. Oh, well, I didn't... Shut off. So I'm unplugging the Windows XP drive because it likes to run amok here. We'll see if it will actually boot off of the CD-ROM. I haven't even begun to do any installation or any weird driver configuration yet, and I can't even... I'm barely getting started here. Okay, so the drive is spinning up. Well, I didn't try actually booting off this disk before. That's probably part of the problem. I have to use the install disk, not the Windows 98 SE disk, because the Windows 98 SE disk is for little babies. So, I mean, I don't know why this needs to be so difficult. Okay, well, let's try it again. Alright, well, we're on, like, reboot number 4 now, I think, and we haven't even had any media boot off yet. Okay, at least it managed to detect the hard drive. I'm glad about that. And this is now doing something different too. What the fuck? Okay, guys, we're not even started yet. We're not even started. I can't even do anything. Oh my god. Okay, so now it's detecting. Didn't change anything. Now it's doing something else. I didn't do anything different. It's now doing what it's supposed to now, which is take a long time. There we go. Okay, so now we want to boot from CD-ROM. We want to start the computer with CD-ROM support. I've used this feature so much, it's painful. Like, I didn't know, I had no idea that I would be using this damn feature still 10 years later after I first started, like, really getting into tinkering with stuff. Oh my god. Well, more than 10 years probably now. Because the stupid monitor auto adjust, the only way I know it's on the right drive is if I go like that. So now we got to switch over to the other drive and hope that everything is going to work. Probably should do Fdisk on the drive first before I do this, because it's going to say that I have like a damaged drive or something. But go ahead, routine check my system. Don't worry, it's all there. Apparently I installed Windows XP on FAT32 because somehow it can read the directory structure. I wish it didn't detect the directory structure because it's okay. Don't fix it. Oh my fucking god. What? So now I lost my command interpreter, so I need to go back to the Windows 98 disk. You serious? Taking the Windows 95 disk out, putting the Windows 98 back in. D command com. There's probably a command com on the Windows 95 now, come to think of it. Or not. dir. Yeah, I need to restart the computer. You know, in all these instances, I probably could have just pressed Control Delete instead of having to press the button, but the button was more visual, so talk about a pain in the ass. Boot from CD-ROM, CD-ROM support. You know, honestly, I should probably just start the Windows 98 setup, let the Windows 98 setup format everything, and then go back to the Windows 95 setup, and then I'll probably be fine. So yeah, the drive's not formatted. I'm going to have to Fdisk it right now. So Fdisk, yes. Let's display partition information. Okay, so we got 6 gigs FAT32. So what we want to do is we want to probably just format that, so I really don't even need to be in here. But it did say it was reporting incorrectly. Now, will this let me partition FAT32-ish partitions? I have no idea. If I were to create them, it already exists. I mean, I'm going down a rabbit hole here. I'm trying to save time by having to shortcut all this shit. See, okay, so what's on here? I have no fucking idea. This is usually a good idea. You don't have the format command? Are you kidding me? Okay, so we'll have to Fdisk it anyway, and then we'll delete the, yes. 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 Okay, so it's gone. So now, primary, we gotta scan the drive. And yes, okay. Now the other thing is you need to make sure the partition is set active. This is a bit of a rookie mistake here that I've made a couple times on the channel, which is if you don't set it active, the software won't detect it, and usually I find out much later in Linux and it says it's not active, and I'm like, oh, so Linux can make it active. Okay, well, it says you need to restart, but I never do. Actually, I always do. Set active partition. Option 2, it's a dedicated option there, and it is already set active. Okay, well, I'll believe you for now. So now we need to go to D and make sure we can see everything there. Okay. So now we're going to put in Windows 95. This is where the video should have started. Meanwhile, we're like 20 minutes in or something. So now it should have no issues with this drive because it's Formatted. The fuck is this? Fix it. I don't know how it's damaged. I just repartitioned it. What do you mean page file system is damaged? There is no page file system. I repartitioned it. Whatever. Whatever. I don't understand this. None of this should be happening. Is there a fix all button? Oh my god. And of course, we lost our command interpreter again. So now I have to see... Oh my god. Why? Why wasn't the format command on the other thing? Oh my god. I'm starting the Windows 98 setup. That's final. We'll start the Windows 98 setup. Oh my god, how easy was that? Format this drive. Do it. That's taking years. Now you're probably wondering, why aren't we doing this on an SSD? Well, IDE SSDs aren't exactly the most... Well, it's not exactly the most efficient use of your money. You know, I mean, what are you going to get, a KingSpec? I mean, those are kind of questionable. Are they? I don't know. I'm just making this shit up. Did I read bad reviews? What's telling me this? I don't know. I guess because since it's not Samsung or something like that it's a shitty drive. But, you know, I don't think I've had an SSD fail on me yet. Like, none of them. And I got some pretty weird-ass brands. And some of them that were so embarrassed of themselves renamed themselves. Now, have I just been talking out of my ass this whole time? I mean, really. I mean, I just start going on these tangents, and I don't really know what I'm talking about. That's a problem. But anyway, my real point is, because of extreme digression, that the hard disk I'm using is old, and it's not an SSD. Some of you get disappointed when I don't use SSDs. Well, it doesn't always make sense to do that, because if I wanted to use an SSD right now, I'd have to use a SATA to IDE adapter, which doesn't increase the speed of the system whatsoever, and it just might as well just use an external hard drive anyway. And the SATA to IDE adapter is in the G4 Cube right now, so I can't really use it. And since I just recently used the G4 Cube, I'm not about to start tearing it down. If you want to see that video, go look at that video, but Jesus, this is taking forever. Well, anyway, while we're waiting, again, we have the Nvidia Riva 128 here. But in the BIOS, it says it's the Velocity TNT. So, something like that. I have no idea what the sound card is. It is also a modem, and yeah, so I was hoping that since it's old, Windows 95, I hope we'll have the drivers for it. Same goes for this Ethernet card here, 10100 of course. But I have some other ones that are just as old if this one doesn't end up working. Now, all of the drivers for at least this one and this one managed to install themselves on Windows 98. There happen to be drivers for them, but you know, I may get into some trouble. I don't know if you can hear the CPU fan from here, but it is pretty annoying. It's about Avirtech levels of annoying. And for those of you who don't understand the Avirtech reference, the Avirtech was a laptop that both I and Akapuku used over a number of years, and it had a fan that was annoying as fuck. Somehow, Akapuku still has that computer. Maybe he'll do a video on him destroying it or something one day. The other cool thing about this sound card is that it has this header thing, and I almost blew these things out with the amount of volume that was being pumped through these. I didn't really have easy way to hook up speakers to this at the time, but I did actually get the sound card working, and on Windows 98, I did actually get Lego Creator working, but it was on a totally different video card. So this is the first time we're trying this with the Velocity TNT. I have no idea what it is. I'll put it in the description or something. Some other cards that didn't work. This was, I don't even know if that's in focus, but this is the ATI Rage 128 from the G3. This is an ATI Rage 128 from the G3. And this is an ATI Rage 128 also from the G3. Well, one of them is actually from a G4. One of them, I don't know which one. But they're all from either G3s or G4s. And I was hoping that, you know how you can plug Mac video cards into PCs and it's no problem, but the other way around it's kind of a problem? Yeah, this was just a problem. It beeped a lot and didn't actually show anything on the screen, but it did try to switch over the video card to that. So now that the drive's formatted, I can cancel this. Start computer with CD-ROM support. We should have a freshly formatted C drive, or at least I hope we do. Okay, C. Nothing's on there, but we have 6 gigs free. Okay, pretty good. So let's go back to D and swap out the drive, or the disk, rather. Windows 95 again. So D, setup. Now, finally, we're gonna... Should I pause it while I was... Fuck. Okay. That's fast. The miracles of a wiped drive, ladies and gentlemen. So the mouse does work, somehow. I have, like, the most generic mouse of all time. It's this guy right here. And it seemed to work a lot better on this surface than it is right now. Okay, so we accept the license agreement. This is your everyday average Windows 95 install here. First Windows 95 install of the new year. Could be first operating system install of the new year, but I don't know if I really count that. No, definitely not. I'm at least 3 in by now. Okay, so we've been sitting here for a while. I moved the mouse and the disk spun up. Is it actually doing something now? You're gonna make me wait another 5 minutes, aren't you? What the piss? Control delete? Oh, piss. Well, I don't think it's loaded any of the setup files onto the disk yet, so that probably means I'm going to have to start the installation all over again. This is the worst part, just waiting for the BIOS. Like, I would stomach almost anything else. No, and this. This is pretty bad. It's the waiting for things without verbose mode. Like, I mean, I could stomach things a lot more if it's like, okay, well, we're copying a 3 GB file. This is why it's taking a while. Here's the progress. That would be wonderful, because then I could see that it's doing something, not just hung up. Because I don't know how many years of my life I've wasted waiting for stuff I thought was happening, but it's not happening. I mean, think of the different life I could have lived had we had more verbose... So I'll take a look at C. We can see that it did start to copy some files. It says... Do not make illegal copies of this disk. Like, reverse psychology much? I mean, come on. So, let's see if it can detect whether or not we previously did this. Okay. So I think this is where we got hung up before. Because really nothing happened. If this doesn't work, I'm going to have to use another Windows 95 CD. Oh my god! I have OSR2 here, so that should be equivalent to the one with USB support. I can't eject the disk. Oh, I can eject the disk while we're in the middle of this. Okay. So I'm going to put in the Windows 95 OSR2. Drive the disk. I keep saying drive for some reason. And we're gonna why did I do that? Because we need to start the computer, so I'm gonna need the Windows 98 first, and then the Windows 95, and then I'm gonna piss my pants. Alright, we're now starting setup off of the OSR2 disk. Aha, there it is. Copying files needed for Windows setup. Okay, everything looks exactly the same so far. I'm gonna have to install Windows 98, aren't I? It doesn't want to work. There's some other problem. Is it because I have too much RAM? Like, what's going on here? Well, I'll try putting less RAM in. I don't know where this RAM came from, but you probably shouldn't do this while the motherboard's at an angle, or while the power is applied to it, but I don't give a shit, because it survived this before. It'll survive it again. Oh, wow, it feels like I'm going to snap the board in half. Okay, let's see how much RAM we have now, because I have no idea. Aha, we got a lot less RAM now. Good. 256 megs, so that should be about half of what we had before. If that's too much, then I'll have to find more sticks until we get down to, like, what, 16 that it needs or something? Alright, let's get the fuck out of here. Gotta switch back disks again. Here we are again, now with 256 megs of RAM and on the original disk. Since I don't think there's any problem with the original disk, I'm just going to use it from now on. This is as far as I got before. Am I going to need even less RAM now? Or is 1.2 gigahertz way too fast for Windows 95? I'm willing to think that it's going to be the latter. And I'm going to have to bake another Windows 98 machine just with lower specifications than the other one. I mean, why not? I mean, it's going to work just as well, right? Everything that Windows 95 can do, Windows 98 can do, right? So why not do a full Windows 98 machine setup? I mean, it's not like I've done that before. I think the only thing I had before was a pre-built machine. I don't think I built it on camera. So maybe that would be kind of interesting. But we're almost already built now. We got the whole thing. We got our cards. We got our board. We got the processor. We got everything. But we just don't have the software installed, which seems to be obviously the most difficult part of the video. So I really don't know what to do at this point. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of stuck. It's just not working. I mean, I could go dig through a bucket of my RAM for a while and say, where's the RAM gone and shit, but I mean, there's probably some other issue here, or it doesn't like my video card. I could swap every single part on this board and keep going, but here's the thing. If I were to install Windows 98 right now, it would just work. So why wouldn't I want to do that? Well, because I've done Windows 98 like to death. Have I done anything with Windows Me too much? Not so much, other than if I just wanted to resurrect the Quantum Bigfoot machine. I still do have the Quantum Bigfoot. Okay, so just for the hell of it, I got a 64 megabyte SDRAM stick. Look at this bad boy. Look at all those chips. Look how thick that is. So I don't think it could pitch a fit over this RAM that is quite clearly marked 64 megabytes. You can't get any more generic than that. This should be totally fine. So let's just do that. It doesn't fit? Okay, I've got another of the exact same stick. Okay, well, it went in, but there apparently with these sticks, there's like they're maybe not need to be worked in a little bit more because the edges might just be like just a tad too much because that is really tightly fitting in there. That's not going anywhere. Okay, well, let's see if it'll still start up and then I didn't cause stress fractures to the motherboard. Well, it won't power on now. So these are a bad idea. Alright, so that was a little scary. Had to find another stick of SDRAM. Shit wasn't powering on at all whatsoever. Let's see how much RAM I got now. Okay, probably 32 megs. Let's take a look. Okay, finally I found a reasonably sized stick of RAM. 32 megabytes. There's no way Windows 95 is gonna pitch a fit. It needs like a minimum of 16 megabytes. So there's no way that this is good. Can be the RAM is the problem now. It's either the video card or the processor. I can't see anything else being an issue. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna boot off of this shit. I just spent like 15 minutes digging through my RAM box. So now we're booting off the original disk. 32 megs of RAM. Everything seems fine at this point. Now, the only thing that it might be is it also might be the fact that I'm booting off of the 98 CD using its newer version of DOS than Windows 95. And so when Windows 95 looks at it, it's like, what the fuck is this? So, what I could do is boot off of my MS-DOS 6 disk and then install Windows 95, and it probably will work. Holy shit! Boot from a tappy CD-ROM. And look, it's installing the Oak CD-ROM device driver. Maybe I should install DOS first? No, because then it's not going to have FAT32 support. Okay, so exit setup. Okay, so D should be our E. Okay, there it is. So get that DOS disk out of there. Windows 95. And setup. So now we're using an older version of DOS to launch a newer Windows 95. Okay, let's do this. Cannot create temporary directory. Let me guess, because it can't read FAT32 that's on the drive. So that would mean that I would need to have the Windows 98 boot disk. Or some version of DOS that, like the fucking DOS that... Oh, Nelly! The DOS 7 from the other fucking thing. So here I was like, oh yeah, I'll just use... Oh, you can't see it because there's too many cables in the way. Well, there's the floppy disk drive. So I was like, okay, well, why don't I just boot off of floppy disk? Well, either the floppy disk I use is bad, or the floppy disk drive I'm using is bad. I have no fucking idea, but the rabbit hole gets deeper. So what are we going to do? I don't know. Should I give up and install Windows 98? Well, then if I did, that wouldn't be the proper title of this video. So that means that in some way I need to get Windows 95 working. And so how am I going to do that? No idea. So I was weighing the difference between trying to get Windows 95 to work on this, which is, you know, sort of a more modern motherboard, so that the Windows 95 SSD that I already made would work, and then I could make a boot disk so that this would work. And then that's going on the assumption that it didn't like the Windows 98 boot disk. So instead, I figured it would be less time to crack open the G4 Cube, take out the IDE SATA adapter, and just, well, use my already installed thing. So one of the problems that we could run into here is that I did modify this. And I modified it as part of the trying to get DOS working on a netbook video. So the operating system should still be working on this. It's just that it's set to start up to MPX play and that's it. The rest of the operating system should just work. No catch or whatever. God, I hate these fucking cables everywhere. Jesus. So glad we switched to serial stuff. My God. Okay, there we go. And no, there's no SATA on this board, so yeah. So we are on an SSD, guys. Alright, finally, right? Alright, back on. Got no floppy disks in the drive. Hell, we don't even need to install it. It's already installed. So let's just see if we can start the damn thing up. Hey! Alright, so let's type win. We should start up Windows 95 without a problem. Holy shit. Holy shit. I couldn't even get this stuff working on other hardware. So this is the first time it's been able to start up not in safe mode. So, oh my god, yes, this is fucking awesome. It was worth it. It was definitely worth it. Screw the G4 Cube, man. I got fucking this. So now we have to go through the arduous process of letting it install all of the drivers. Now the problem with this is that I have no idea whether or not I installed OSR2 or not. And yeah, when it restarts I have to do this every time. Luckily it works though. I wish there was a way to more automate this. Part of the problem is that we're gonna have a driver crisis very quickly. This is chugging along pretty good. It's not asking for a lot of input here. It's just going through each of them. Okay, so usually it stops at the PCI standard ISA bridge, even though there are no ISA ports on the board. But apparently it already had the driver and it didn't even need to do that. How about let's take a look at PCI bridge. I did spend all night last night doing this. So now what I can do is make sure that the Windows 95 disk, which has our magic USB driver supposedly, or at least its support for it, we can go to other locations and we can hope the mouse works on the surface. So here we have no CD drive for no reason. There's no reason it shouldn't be there. It was working on Windows 98 with no drivers. I don't know why I can't find it now. So we're pretty much screwed. I don't think we can do anything else other than just let it install what it can install and just pray, because that means we're not going to get the video card working, we're not going to get the sound card working, we're not going to get the Ethernet card certainly working. We're just going to get it starting up, and from that point, hopefully we can start loading stuff on via either floppy disk or find some other way to get the CD drive working. I may have to add the Oak CD-ROM stuff to the Auto EXE bat to load the drive support. Maybe I could just keep pressing enter and just hold down enter. I never thought about doing anything like this. Oh shit! Well, I guess it wanted to restart the computer. Fuck. Not a big deal. So where are the Oak CD-ROM drivers? Well, I have some of them on a boot disk here, but the boot disk is kind of corrupted, but we can try to do this. So I had a slight detour. I was trying to get CD-ROM support working for Windows 95, and I fucked up Windows 95. Like, it stopped working. Probably, the only thing I did was change the Auto EXE bat to have Win in it, so it auto-started the UI, because I disabled that in the boot INI earlier in another video. And I think I may have saved an empty copy of configsys or something, or maybe it had a line in it. But then it started general protection fault on me, and then it just stopped working. So now I'm going to see if it actually will start up again normally without any weirdness. So that's what I was getting right there. So my problem was that it was I need to now delete the win line out of the Auto EXE bat because it does this, and I need to be able to get into just the DOS of Windows 95 so that I can delete the configsys line that it's fucking shitting its pants over. Jesus Christ. Well, I deleted the line off of the Audio EXE bat. I managed to get edit working. Getting edit working was actually the hardest. Well, it wasn't the hardest. It was just annoying. It took forever. I had to switch disks like 3 times. It's stupid. General failure reading and drive F. Except it's not just an F, it's the symbolic F that I don't actually know what it's called specifically. But it is a different kind of Unicode ASCII F that is not what happens when you type F. Like this F or this F. As you can see, they are different. So sometimes if I cancel this, it works, but sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to try and boot off of this again. Now, probably one of the reasons why it is not... Yeah, there's the KingSpec drive. It detected it just perfectly. One of the reasons why this might actually be working now is because it started installing drivers for different things, and then it fucked itself up, and now it doesn't work. Here's my problem. If this doesn't work, I'm done. I'm dead in the water. I can't do anything, and I can't reinstall it. Oh, okay, well, at least we got something different here. After you restart your computer, Windows will use compatibility mode drivers for each child device attached to this multifunction device. If you want to use 32-bit drivers, you may be able to obtain an updated driver device that caused the problem. Contact. Okay, so it solved its own problem then? I don't know. If you looked at my complicated Windows 95 video, it's probably the longest video I've ever made, and most of the reason it was difficult and long was because I was trying to install Windows 95 on newer hardware, but I finally did it. Now when I actually try to go to install it on older hardware, it actually doesn't even start the install. I couldn't even get that far. Well, it started the install, but it freezes up. And there it is. The same fucking device IO error. And it's a different one every single time. And it doesn't really matter what I do. It's all bad. So, we can go into safe mode again and see if we can fix the problem. Which may mean we need to remove certain devices from the startup routine of the drive. So this whole time we haven't even been trying to use safe mode at all. Which I think we're doing pretty good if that's what's going on. So safe mode. And of course, boot INI doesn't let me do anything, so that's a good sign right there, by the way. Okay, so that was actually a pretty fast startup. These are all the stupid font files I dragged out for some reason. I don't remember why I did this. Okay, well, it doesn't really matter. So what does matter, however, is... Oh, there's our floppy drive. Okay. Now, as you can see, we don't have a CD drive here. It's sort of hard to get one of those set up with Windows 95, apparently. Even though DOS seems to have no problem once you install the proper thingy-majig. I do have a floppy disk that installs that. Let me see if I can actually use that. Okay, I got it. It's a CD-ROM device driver floppy. Because this isn't going to be much of a Windows 95 machine if we can't get that part working. And I can't have a good way to get drivers on the machine. Now, this says it's only for use in DOS and Windows 3.1, but, you know, desperate times call for desperate measures. Well, copy the files for CD-ROM drive onto your system. You will need about 0.5 megabytes of... Okay, do you want to modify and fix this? Not really, but please input mscdx directory name. Please input source drive. Please input destination drive and directory name. I know you guys can't see this. This is like, I can barely read this. This is using small fonts or something. Sure. It does look like it's using small fonts for that, which is over on the right somewhere, probably. Press the key to exit to DOS. Okay. So now we have CD-ROM support, supposedly. But we won't know until we restart the computer, and it won't work because it doesn't actually start up. So control panel. Actually, first what we need is device manager, which don't know where the hell that is in this. Is there even a device manager in Windows 95? I barely ever use Windows 95, so Maybe we need to add new hardware. Oh, we can't, because you can't use the add hardware thing in safe mode. That's right. So let's go. Oh, here it is. Device manager. It's the same place it always is. Okay, so we've got some broken shit here. We got a lot of USB shit that never got loaded. We got some sort of fucked up graphics thing here. So what we can do is we can just remove this and any other thing because they're not the correct device. So I'm just going to remove them anyway because unless it says Nvidia Riva or whatever, it's not the right thing. So that's right, monitor is fine. Other devices have not been installed yet, so they don't have any possible problems. So that should fix the problem. I don't know if there's anything here. It was saying something about PCI IDE something or other being a problem, and I could go through here and clear all these out. We have a little bit of redundancy here. We have multiple system timers, system speakers, CMOS, real-time clock, stuff like that. I could just wipe this all out and let it reinstall all of it all by itself, but we're going to see if it'll restart normally now. No idea whether or not it was the display adapter causing the problem. Didn't do that? Okay, fuck. Okay, we're back in safe mode now. That didn't work. And it didn't load up my auto exec back because apparently safe mode bypasses that or something. I have no idea. So what do we have to do left now? We have to remove the rest of the drivers. I've never tried to do this before. I can see that there's doubling up happening here. So I could just remove all of them and let it reinstall whatever it wants. Well, my system hasn't crashed yet. System timer sounds like it's pretty important. Just remove all these. Stick one. Okay, there I removed everything. I have 4 COM ports for some reason, but on this computer there's only 2. So I could just get rid of absolutely everything and let it see if it could reinstall everything, and it would take a long time, and I wouldn't like it. Now, what if it's in here? Now, it did say there was some weird stuff in the IDE controller stuff. This is probably, I was probably barking up the wrong tree there. So let's just keep going, I guess. I can't remove any of these. Okay. Keyboard, monitor. I mean, I can't really get rid of anything else. Get rid of some COM ports. Okay, so I removed a buttload of shit. So let's go ahead and restart it and see what happens. Okay, so take a look at this. It supposedly, I managed to install my CD-ROM drivers. That's pretty nice. Oh, sorry, wrong drive there. There we go. Windows per fucking protection error, man. I don't know what I did. And the thing is that I might run into this again. I have no idea. Input outputs. I don't know, man. I'm pretty stuck. The last thing I could probably do would be to see if I could reinstall Windows 95 on this. But man, I moved the heaven and the earth to fucking install that thing on there, and then the only thing I could do would be to get it into safe mode. So really, I'm no further than I was in the last video. So I guess, I mean, I could try to see if I can get into that installer to see if it'll let me do maybe a repair install on it or something. I have no idea, but I'm really out of options. So I mean, I guess I'll just put this 95 disk back in there. And, oh man, if I break my Windows 95 install, man, I'm going to be really upset. I do have a DD disk image backup somewhere of this. I did take a backup of this drive, so if I totally fuck it up, it's not the end of the world. I can technically restore it, but, I mean, what a pain in the ass, man. Okay, so right now we have the... I did have the add the CD-ROM drive support using some random floppy disk. And I'm going to use that CD-ROM drive support, now that I'm at the Windows 95 prompt here, to launch the Windows 95 installer, which should have no problem since I'm on the Windows 95 DOS. Right? Okay, so we're back at the 95 setup from the original disk that I originally showed. The only difference now is we're on the Windows 95 DOS. If we fuck this up, we're totally done. Before we were on the Windows 98 DOS, and that wasn't working. It was having a shit. So this is the only thing left we have. Oh my god, it fucking worked! Jesus! We did. That was the problem? Or did it need a floppy disk drive? That's the other thing I added. I saw that it was seeking. Oh my god, I bet you that was it instead. Alright, well let's just reinstall Windows over itself, because now we know it's going to work. Let's make sure it installs absolutely fucking everything. Oh, god damn it. Sure, look for all. Yes, I do have both of these cards. Hey, now it's working for me. Not the other way around. Now, did it find my graphics card? Nope. No, it didn't. Not a big deal. I'll have to copy that on later, but... You might ask, why are you interested in these old computers and shit? And dealing with this bullshit all the time? Well, did you see how excited I got when this Windows 95 installer started working? This is literally what I have been trying to do for the past like 5 hours. I have no idea, and I think it's sort of like gambling. Where you'll pull that lever and you'll pull that lever and it'll not do anything, but the second it does actually do something and you win some shit, you're gonna shit your pants because that's how the brain works, I think. So really, this is not really just interesting old computer shit. This might just be some sort of weird gambling addiction, and that's how it works neurologically. But obviously that there's probably some flaw with my statement. Don't take it at face value. I'm not a psychologist or neurologist, and I'm sure somebody can correct the statement. But for the purpose of humor, yes, that is kind of funny to think about. Okay, well, it didn't tell me whether or not it was able to find any devices, but it's not used for from. I don't know, but that's kind of sad. Okay, everything. Boom. All right, following network components to be installed. We've got IPX. We've got dial-up. We've got client. We got net. We can need TCP over IP. Where can we find that? There it is. The adapter here is a parallel tasking 2. I don't know if that's on here, but I'll definitely take a look. Here we go. It's a 3-com. It doesn't even have any PCI. Ooh, there it is. Fast Etherlink. Mine is definitely a fast Etherlink. I don't fucking believe that it has it. That's the only one that says fast Etherlink. Okay, 3-com fast Etherlink. PCI. Hey, that is correct. And it did add the TCP over IP for that as well. Computer name Win95 machine. Computer description is Draga. Fine. Yes, I want a startup disk. You don't know how badly I need this. Alright, so I have this MS-DOS startup disk that's pretty much useless, so I'm just going to have it wipe that out. Okay. Now we're installing. Boom! So, well, I'll just let this install. It needs to make the startup disk first, and then it's going to install the thing. So I'll come back in a little bit. And for the record, it had a bar at the bottom that went to the all the way to the end at 100%. And once it completed, now it's going to the install. We're just installing right over the other one. And I think this is probably going to install a little bit faster. Actually, it shouldn't. The other one should have been way faster. We're going off a USB drive. Now we're going off of a CD, an optical drive. But it seems like we're going a lot faster because I was able to actually read some of these while it was going by. Like, this is considerably faster, and I think it's because it might be skipping over a lot of the files because they might already be there. Windows 95 makes it easier to work with your PC if you're on your desk or away from your road computer, portable PC. Hey, I did it. I totally... Okay, I will say that was way faster. It had to have been. That's the fastest I've ever seen it go. Okay, so good news is I got the thing I always wanted today, which was a Windows 95 boot floppy. So now it's doing its whole getting ready to run Windows 95 for the first time shtick. And we've seen this before. Wait a minute. Did I say earlier in this video that I've never installed Windows 95 before? No, it was that I had never built a Windows 98 machine before. I think that's what it was. Oh god, I can't remember. Your network adapter is not working properly. You need to set it up again. Well, that's not a big surprise. Okay, my password's blank. Hopefully it doesn't take issue with that. Oh no, it wants me to install Windows Messaging, because I technically did install that. Wait, there's no way to back out of this? How about this? I don't really want to do telephony. Fuck, why did I do this? No! No! I don't want to set up a modem. I should have never done that. Fuck. I needed to install every possible networking thing because if for some reason that the TCP over IP shit was in the modem packages, that I wouldn't be able to get it any other way. So it's not going to be able to detect my modem. I'm just going to cancel it. Huh. You have not selected a fax modem. That's okay, but you'll only be able to work offline. You must provide a path to the location of the post office. Is that what you want? Could not connect to the post office that you specified. What is this? Is bizarre. I've never run into this. Mailbox password? Mailbox password. How about that? Well, it's never going to use any of this shit. Or at least I hope it won't. It's not going to work. It's not. These aren't real accounts or real anything. I hope that setting up all that extra crap doesn't break it. Well, would you look at that? After everything we've been through, we have the exact same Windows protection error. So that means that there's some sort of hardware device somewhere on the system that absolutely does not like, that we can't work with, whether it's the sound card, whether it's the video card, whether it's the Ethernet card. So the only thing we can do is to take out the card individually to see until it gets past this. I don't know any other way to do it, so I'm just going to start. Alright, is it the Ethernet card? Holy shit, it worked? That was it? Dude, I didn't even need to reinstall Windows. It was just this stupid Ethernet card. Now I need to find another Ethernet card, but it doesn't matter because we're in. So we don't have to do networking right now. We can do that another time. I wanted to set up networking so we could do Windows 98 LAN party shit with a Windows 95 machine as maybe like a server or something. I don't know. But that was part of the reason for it. But the good news is that we're started up and pretty much everything looks the same. Even this image that I drew before. So that's some good news, but here's the bad news. We don't have the drivers. Oh, this is fucking amazing. The CD-ROM drive is accessible from my computer. So that means that we can install drivers for the Nvidia Riva, which is really good news. So The problem is that we don't have the drivers on disk. So that means I would have to burn a disk. What's better than burning a disk? Actually having authentic AMD and 32 megs RAM. Okay. So this didn't end up working, so we can remove that. Nope. So standard PCI graphics adapter. Obviously that's not the right one. So yeah, we don't have the drivers. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to put together a driver CD, burn the damn thing, and then introduce it on here, and hopefully it has all the drivers I need. Now, what we can't do is we can't use this Ethernet card, but I have to be very careful and to make sure what I'm going to do, or else I'm going to waste the CD-ROM trying to burn my drivers to this. Another thing that I can do is to remove the SSD from its current location, plug it into another computer, copy the drivers onto it directly, and then start it back up again. The miracle of SATA here. So that's what I'm probably going to do instead, because everything else seems pretty impossible right now. So I'll get the motherboard drivers, I'll get the everything else, and copy it onto there, and then we will skip to having the drivers and then installing them. So since Windows 10 didn't want to touch the Windows 95 drive with a 10-foot pole, of course Linux loads it up immediately. So over here on the left here we have all of our drivers, and for what we need we have the Riva 128. Interestingly enough, Nvidia's website still hosts Windows 3.1, as far back as 3.1 drivers on their site. I hope that never changes. I also got another network card here that I do have 95 drivers for, that should work fine, and I got a totally different sound card here. So yeah, so we got the drivers in there for that. Obviously there's nothing we can do for these on Linux. Alright, so we'll go ahead and copy these over there. And they're copying now. Oh, its copying is done already. Okay. That was 13 megabytes worth of stuff. Actually, probably less. So, a lot easier to do that than having to shuffle floppies around or anything else. Just drag and drop and we're done. So now let's go ahead and plug everything back together with the new hardware we're going to be using, and then boot the computer to see what happens. Okay, so this is our Nvidia Riva 128 right here. We have the ESS 1938, I believe is what it is. Yeah, ESS 1938. We have the drivers for that. I do realize that the board is still powered on, but it never had any problems doing this before. And I guess I could get a little risky by putting some network hardware in here. The TrendNet TE100 PCI Win, or WN, I guess. And we do have Windows 95 drivers for that. Now that might fuck everything over, but how did we fix it last time? We just unplugged it, so not a big deal. And of course, we got to plug our boot volume back in. There we are. Okay. Now, I was not totally happy with that. PCI plugged in slot 2 share I interrupt request with promise IDE controller. Aha! So that's why I'm having a problem, and that's why it gave me an error with an IDE controller, because my TrendNet is in the wrong PCI slot. So let's shut that off. So that was the whole problem. I didn't need to switch cards. Alright, so now I switched it over. Let's try it again. I don't know why I didn't pick up on that before. So now, no error, just goes. Wow, if only I had just read. I could have avoided like half of this. Oh well. So it should start up fine without having an issue, and it is. And we do have support here. So now we have the PCI Ethernet controller. And now we need to install the drivers for it. So where do we find it? First, it's going to say that it can't find it, which is false. So we'll go here, and then we have the drivers here. This is our Ethernet thing here. There's Windows 95 A and B. We're going to try B. Location of driver. There we go. And I'm pretty sure I have the Windows 95 CD in there. This is the Windows 95 CD. I don't know what else you want. Net 100. Well, I'll try a different Windows 95 CD and see if that does it. Now, it doesn't say OSR2 disk, it just says the Windows 95 CD. So let's just try D. It doesn't even try. It just... that is frustrating. Details. Source file. Net100INF. Destination file. Pre-copy 1cap. So, browse. Pre-copy 1. And for some reason that's... okay. Now it did... There used to be a drivers thing in there. I don't know if this is a refreshed page or not. So my Windows 95 disk is a lot better. Netflix 3? Weird. Okay, so now I was just going to get it from somewhere else. Okay, which is fine. There we go. Okay. And now you want to... oh, I get what it's doing. It's going back and forth. Okay. But now I can't direct it to the right location. Okay, well, fine. Aha! That's what it is. So first, this is the most asinine crap I've ever seen. First, it's like, let's start copying from the manufacturer's driver folder. Oh, we can't find a file. Where is it? Insert the 98 CD-ROM, or 95 CD-ROM. Okay, I did it. Okay, now I can't find the file on the 98 CD-ROM. It's go back to the last location, back on the manufacturer's drivers. What the fuck? Go back on your goddamn own. Oh, fuck, now we're frozen. I think we're done. Shut her down. Can at least safely shut down the computer that way. Oh, would you look at that? Another Windows protection error. How much you want to bet that'll go away when I remove my network card? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it to yet another PCI lane until I find one that works and doesn't have an interrupt request tying together. Oh my god, this is fighting me every step of the way. It's like putting a wall up, but I'm bashing right through it. It's putting a wall up, I'm bashing right through it. Okay, shouldn't need safe mode here. So we'll just get out of it. Okay, so it doesn't like my fucking network card, which is not a big deal. We really just want to get this thing working. We can figure this shit out later. So I'm taking out the network card, and we should have no problem now. The fuck? I think it's because I need to go into safe mode, and now I need to and now I need to uninstall the fucking network card, and then it's gonna be fine. What is it with Windows 95 and networking? Man, this is a pain in the ass. Safe mode. Luckily this boots up pretty dang fast. Okay, so let's go in here, properties, device manager, network devices, remove the TrendNet thing, it's gone, okay, restart. How did I fix this last time? I have no idea. Had I not been so fucking greedy wanting to get this working, oh my god. Okay, so here we go. Manual interrupt request specification. So we have slot 1 interrupt request. So I can make it auto and then it won't have a problem. But it is having a problem. So let's make it 12. How about 2? Let's make it 14, 3, 15. Okay, 4 and 5. I don't know. Fuck it. Okay, so everything else here seems shit, I have no idea. So this, I don't know if this is going to hold up, but we need something static. We don't want this floundering around. That in of itself may cause it to be unbootable, but if we're going to have a conflict, it's going to be right here because it would be with a conflict with something else on the board, and seems we've hit a snag. Well, still consistent. I like consistency. Wow, I can't even control delete it. Wow, it really did not like that. Alright, fine. Sure, I don't know what I'm doing. Fuck. Piece of shit. Go automatic. So many interrupt request shit. I have no idea. But now, I'm going to have to take out the sound card because I don't know what else is doing this shit. Okay, so the only thing we have now is the video card. Normal. I don't know what it is anymore. It's fucking up of its own accord. I can't even get in on safe mode now. It just won't let me. It's got to be the network shit. I got to clear out the network shit. So let's do the step-by-step confirmation to see where during it we will load. So we got to say, yes, we'll load the system registry. Process your startup device drivers. No. Yes? 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 That's CD driver. Yes. Yes. No. Okay, that got me in. Alright, so now let's see in network. Fuck off, floppy drive. Oh, I lost the CD drive again. Oh well. Safe mode, I guess. So we gotta go into network. We gotta tear this shit apart. Wait, where is all of it? This wasn't causing it to crash before. What else we got? We've got multiple IDE floppies for some reason. I really don't know why that is. Remove the monitors. I don't know what else to do. This shit should just work. A little Googling has showed me that I may be barking up the wrong tree again. And that this really has stuff to do with config sys and has nothing to do with my physical hardware. Because shit keeps modifying the config sys, but then I don't get it fixed by just removing it from Windows. I need to go in and fucking remove it from the config sys. So when this shit installed, it left some tiddly bits behind. And so I need to go command prompt only, safe mode command prompt only, and then I need to go to, hey, what is this? Oh, it's just a CD-ROM drive. It's not problematic. Edit auto exec.bat. Again, this doesn't matter because this is, wait a minute, I'm scrolled all the way down. What's up here? Okay, no, that wasn't it. Alright. Maybe that was it. I don't know. Well, let's see what happens. Fuck. Okay, so I changed the error. Wow. Wow, I fixed it. So guess what the problem was? I renamed AutoEXECBAT and ConfigSys to something else, so they're essentially not present in the system according to Windows anymore. And it just works. No safe mode, nothing. It just, boom, it's done. How does this work? I don't fucking know. Something is fucking up those files, and I don't know what it is. Every single time. So, I'll figure that out later, and really the only thing that affects is the CD-ROM drive, which we don't need because we already have the drivers. So, I'm just glad it wasn't the issue where for certain processors at 1.1 gigahertz and
higher, you can have a bug that permanently makes that error happen, and you can't use Windows 95 at all, and you have to upgrade to 98, and I will not tolerate that. So luckily, we're good here. So now that I know it can boot up, let's put the hardware back in the computer and get this thing running. So I'm not going to get greedy. I'm just going to put the sound card in, and that's it for now. After everything's done, then maybe I'll think about fucking around with the Ethernet card, but not right now. Okay, sound card's back in, and what do you know? It's back again. The Windows fucking protection error. I don't even know if I changed anything or this would happen anyway. Maybe it recreated those files and I have no idea. Well, let's find out. The fuck is this? Autoexec.dos? No. Yeah, that should clear that up. Okay, I think that should do it. So now let's try it again. Now it says something totally different again. Now it's going back to device iOS. It's sort of different every time. So if we don't have AutoEXEBAT, we don't have fucking configsys, but we have something plugged in, let's unplug it, and then this should go away definitively. I don't see how else it wouldn't, because we've covered all the bases, total trial and error. It should boot up absolutely normally right now. If it doesn't, we have a changing factor of some kind that I can't track whatsoever. So we can go normal. And it worked! Okay, so now we know exactly what's going on. Okay, so basically what's going on, if you add any devices here, it freaks out. Thus far, we've tried this, I've tried them down here, but the thing is we've removed all of them, and then we still had problems. So what I did was I removed the configsys and AutoEXECBAT, and it seemed to start working again. Did that make any difference? There was nothing in those files. I don't know. Maybe it just needed a couple restarts. So far, we've had problems with this port, and this port. Maybe I even tried these, I'm not sure. But these two ports down here, they have the exact interrupt request. So maybe if I put this is on, so I'm not going to plug it in. Maybe if I put it in one of these lower ones, it might not have a problem because we're on a totally different interrupt request. I think that's the only problem we have is interrupt requests, and it's just not telling us. It just has no way of telling us. But the point is that it's working now, so why don't we just install the only driver that matters above literally all else, and that is the Nvidia Riva drivers. Let's just fucking get this thing working and install a game. Okay, so, this is working even without the configsys and all that shit. Okay. So drivers, we have the Riva here. As you can see, there's no executable. I have to install it myself. And that would be located in here. Add new hardware. Next. No. Fuck it, search. While detection is in progress, and this is something I remember quite well, you will see a progress indicator. If this indicator stops for a long time, you will need to restart your computer. Or I can click cancel, and instead do this. Update driver. No, select it from a list. Show all hardware. Show compatible hardware. Fuck, this is always a yes recommended. You won't find it. Other locations. Browse. The drivers. Riva. Open. Okay. Location of driver. Nvidia Riva 128. Finish. And now it wants the driver disk, which is where I just told you it was, which is right fucking there. Take it. There you go. I already told you where it was, and you ignored it. If I didn't know you were ignoring what I just told you... I was ranting, and I don't know if it got recorded or not. I don't even know what just got recorded. But basically, I went to install the Nvidia Riva, and probably my recording finished somewhere in the middle, and I was ranting that it ignored me. But now it reintroduced our little general protection fault shit, so fuck me, I guess. Okay, so at least we can get in safe mode. Sometimes we weren't even able to do that. Let's see, were we able to get that installed successfully? It says we're fine. Nothing changed with our interrupt requests. It was software problems only, so see what it does. I'm gonna fucking kill that ATA RAID bullshit controller right goddamn now. I don't know what it's gonna take. I really don't. Oh shit. My BIOS froze. Are you kidding me? Disabled. I think I did it. Oh my god, I did it. I fucking did it. I got rid of the detecting thing. Oh, but it's so sad. It's so sad. It really is. So, what are we going to do now? I don't know. So my current theory is that any driver we try to install, doesn't matter what it is, for any device, it will cause the Windows protection error. When you remove the device, the protection error goes away. And so I've removed multiple devices, and it's gone away each time, and I've got it back up and running, and got it back up and running. And so now we're down to the video card. Now this motherboard has no like integrated video. You'd have to put in another video card. Got a much simpler one here. I'm from 1997 instead of this one's from I think 1999. The only way with that logic, the only way we can start this back up is if we switch off of that thing where it was having the driver problem. So I could remove the driver and then I could try and reinstall it itself, but you know, that would be problematic. The other thing I can probably do is reinstall the operating system and have it install everything at install time, and then that might give it some magical juice to just work. I don't know. I could put the drivers in a place that it always looks for so it can always find them, so it doesn't have to keep churning around and doing a bunch of bullshit. Fuck, dude, I don't know. I just know this is really fucked up, and it could be because the motherboard's too new, it could be because the processor's too fast. There are options for overclocking the processor, which implies that I could underclock the processor, but it never likes it when I do that, and I don't know if that'll actually fix the problem. The problem's probably going to be with the processor, not with the clock speed it's running at. Yeah, so the problem has to do with a bug in the software that could be causing the issue. Is it a problem with the drivers? I don't know. I've tried to install multiple drivers from multiple different manufacturers for multiple different devices, and it hasn't done the trick. It keeps giving me this error, and it probably is because the motherboard's too new. Now, a good way to try this would be to hook it up to a motherboard that doesn't have this problem, which I do have over here, but then we can't, it has no AGP on the board, so that means we can't do any of our good shit. The only thing we'll be left with is PCI video only, and the only card I have is a Trident card from like 1995 or something, and it's not going to be enough to push the pixels to run games, which has been the point of this whole thing. I don't know if I made that clear or not. If I wanted to run Microsoft Office, I would have already been doing it. So we'll switch out video cards to prove our theory that it is in fact a problem with the drivers. But even if that is true, we're still fucked because we can't install anything without it freaking out on us. So if it's going to do that every single time, then we're screwed with this motherboard and we have to try something else. Or we might just have to try a different operating system and just go Windows 98. The Windows 95 is just not an option unless you got some old ass shit or you got something working in your favor, or maybe there's some patch for Windows 95 I can get that fixes these bugs and I won't have these issues anymore. That actually might not be a bad idea, come to think of it. So yeah, I'm going to be looking into that. But first, why don't we swap out the video card, see if that can actually get it booting again. Uh, E? Guess so. Alright. I'll make sure it actually outputs anything to the display over there before I end up using it. Nope, nothing on the display, so I'm going to have to go with some other card or something. So let's go with, okay. Whoa. This is the only option I have for PCI video card right now. I don't have anything on hand, and it's 1996 on the card. So this has actually been a good standby card that has worked in a lot of situations where I just needed to get some video out of a motherboard. So this should work pretty much flawlessly, but this is my only option. And this can do Lego Creator in software mode, but that's about the maximum I've ever seen it do. So this board may not even allow PCI video. Oh, yeah, it does. Well, I couldn't even get a chance to focus the camera, but I get the same protection error. Exactly the same. So, was it the video card? Was it that the config sys got modified every single fucking time we try to do this? I don't know. The only way to know for sure whether or not it's the motherboard is to see if we can boot this off successfully off of a different motherboard with this Trident card, because we know this Trident card is having this issue. So let's go to command prompt only, edit, nothing there. Is there anything here? No, I think everything is tucked away just fine. We've got a config.win. Another weird thing there. Okay. We had an auto.exec.dos and a config.win. And we removed all that. So maybe we're good now. Well, now it has a different error. Now it has a different fucking error. So that had something to do with it. I actually changed something. What is happening, dog? Like, what? Fast reboot now that I fixed the damn thing. Okay, so let's go back to command prompt only. Whoa, what is happening? It keeps sprouting new offspring. Take a look. It says config.dos. We have a config.sys. We lost the there's the config.win. Where did the config.dos come from? So we've got 3 config syses in play here. We've got config.dos, config.win, and config.sys. We have 3. So let's see if we can make another one. Let's rename the config.dos to config.do. But we already have a config.do? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Do we have anything else here that I'm absolutely missing? We've got first copy of config.win. We've got first copy of config auto-exec. We've got second copy of config, third copy of config, second copy of auto-exec, and then command com. So that should be it. Where those fucking things came from? Probably from the CD-ROM driver shit. I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to boot it back into safe mode here if it'll let me. And I want to see if another one just kind of sprouted. Okay, so we've got config.win, auto-exec1, config2, config3, auto-exec2. So that should be fine. I think another file got added in there somewhere. Doesn't look exactly the same, but... So we haven't added anything else yet. So now we have the original error. So now let's go to the command prompt and see what little goodies it left us. Config.win, config.do, config.sys, auto-exec. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Should be fine. Should be a fine boot. Okay, wait a minute. All I had to do was restart it more than once, and then it works again? Oh no, this doesn't make any sense. This is why Voss from Far Cry 3 is stupid, because shit changes between attempts. The only thing I looked at was I went into command prompt with shit fuck. I didn't change any files at all, and then we have a different result. And it works. Why is it every once in a while? Why isn't it? What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. So that means that I should be able to just keep restarting this, and it should just keep working, right? I should just be able to keep doing that, and it'll just keep working. Let's do it fucking 5 times to make sure. Changing absolutely nothing, and then watch it crash. Nothing else makes sense at this point. Okay, and there we go. We have an error. Okay, so that's one. Let's try it again. Let's make sure we're normal. Always save mode. So on the second fucking try, it works. Okay, so we got 2 now. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 1 didn't work. Number 2 did. Okay. All right, so let's shut down, restart. We're on number 3 now. Number 3 didn't work. Okay, so let's restart. We're on number 4. Four worked. It's every other fucking time. Let's try number 5. Oh my god, it's actually... If it's this repeatable, then we can actually finish the build. And just, if it doesn't restart one time, restart it again and it'll work. It doesn't matter what the fuck we put in this thing. Oh my god. So this attempt should not work. And... protection fault. No? Okay, that one worked. Okay, so there's no pattern to it, because we got 1 bad, 1 good. So we got 1 bad, 1 good, 1 bad, 1 good, 1 good, 1 good. I don't get it. Shut down, restart. Okay, I think we worked the bugs out of it. You just got to restart it like 20 times. Okay, so in that case, why don't we start putting hardware back into this thing, and see if we can just use our super restart method, because we change something every time, and that probably broke it. Okay. Okay, let's try it 5 times. Protection error, doesn't work. That was 1. We're on number 2. Doesn't work. Different order now. This is number 3. Doesn't work, but different error. Doesn't work, but different error. Ah! Hey! What attempt was that? 4 or 5? Get wrecked, bitches. Because now we got Riva settings now, bitch. Yeah! Let's crank up that resolution to native. How about that? Ah, fuck. Oh no, did I get too greedy again? Still outputting video. Fuck it. Okay, number 1. Maybe I'm actually take a tally here. The Riva takes... How many times does the Riva take to restart? Okay, we got 1. Before we can at least get past... I don't care if it gets the blue screen. I just want to see how many times it's going to take. Okay, so that's 2. And it should have a different error on the 3rd one. Like, if this is, like, scientifically provable, we're, like, working towards that. Should have a different error. No, okay, it didn't that time. This is number 4. Now it should have a different arrow? Nope. Let's see what attempt 5 looks like. I don't know, this is not looking good. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you try number 7. That is 7 fucking identical tries, changing no settings, and I have this weird-ass resolution going on to boot. I have native resolution in Windows 95. 7 identical tries. I tried nothing else. I didn't do anything different. I just pressed Control Delete and didn't go into safe mode. What is going on? I mean, if that's what it takes to make a video, sure, fine, whatever. God, that is fucking stupid. Like, oh my god, that is stupid. Okay, well, what's the good standby? Well, back in the day, let me tell you a little story. When my mom had her first computer, it was a HP Pavilion piece of shit. And it had only, like, integrated graphics, so it was terrible. When I installed Lego Racers, it played in like this weird software mode, but after you completed the first circuit, it like fucking crashed, and then I never saved progress, so I always had to repeat the first circuit. So it was like I had the demo of Lego Racers, so it sucked. I could only play it at my dad's, where everything looked awesome and perfect. There was graphic artifacting on my mom's computer. The graphics card chipset in that fucking motherboard was not up to par. So what happened is I begged my mom for a 3D accelerator card that I had learned from her IT guy at work. And what we ended up getting was a Voodoo 2, and it fucking miraculously made everything work awesome. So I think the best thing we can do to try here is to actually run Lego Racers to see if it will run without any sort of weird artifacting. So let me go grab the disk. All right, so the game is set to run specifically only in 640 by 480, so yeah, I can't even see anything. First time I think installing Lego Racers on an SSD? No, because I installed it on the 98 machine. SSD Windows 95, yes. So had I known this 7-step plan to success, I probably would have tried it in the last video, and I probably could have gotten this working on other better hardware. But, I mean, that's a pain in the ass having to restart your computer 7 times before it works. As a pragmatist, that's a conundrum. So, the upshot to all this is we don't need the config.sys or auto.exe cbats, because obviously the CD's working, or else I wouldn't be able to do this. Oh shit, I guess I do have to install DirectX. Kind of at Microsoft's mercy here. Do not, well, fuck it. Let's read Mare all we want. Will it start back up again? Eventually. Okay, so we're on startup number 1. Protection error. Protection error. Ah, that was the magic one. Only took 3 that time. Rock and rolling, man. Let's do this. Now, what about sound card? Well, you can't. I don't have this hooked up to my camera, so you're not going to be able to hear it anyway. So, see if it works. The startup roll was a little slow for this. I don't remember it being this long. Is it locked up? No. I never have run Lego Racers on Windows 95. I don't even know if it can. Okay, so the game is not actually starting, but I'm not too worried about this because it hasn't even got to the point where it starts the graphics renderer yet. So I think I should still be able to Alt F4 this, or Control Delete this. Okay, don't really want to restart my computer considering how long it takes. Can I eject the disk while it's in use? I can, but it gets a blue screen. Oh, fuck. It really didn't like that. So, I'm probably going to have to restart the computer again. But, we're going to try something the much elusive Lego Creator. Okay. Yeah, a while back I loved the fuck out of this game as a kid, but it deluded me because it I lost it. I lost the disc for it, and eventually my dad just found like one that was going for like a penny with shipping on eBay and bought it. So what we're gonna do now is I'm just gonna install that while Lego Racers is crashing in the background. Doesn't seem to have an issue with this. Get a little worried when nothing happens, just because of what's been happening lately. Now, this game is very, very easy to run. It does have a software rendering mode, and it can run on garbage cards. But what I'm going to see is if I can switch it into hardware mode. I was not able to do that before, and see how smoothly it runs at the maximum detail setting. Oh, are we fucking crashed again? You're going to be a pain in my ass, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Fuck. Alright, let's just restart it and see how long it takes. Protection error. Protection error. Protection error. Ta-da! Now you get to see the award-winning install sequence. Now, probably one of the reasons why I loved this game so much when I was a kid was because of the amount of up close and personal you could get. You could go inside of a Lego structure as a minifigure and see the inside of that structure from his point of view. Something that I had always dreamed of thinking is like, oh, what is, like, if I had my little Lego dude in real life, what would he be feeling if he was inside this structure? Or what would it look like behind the wheel of a car? Like one of those. It lets you do that, and it's essentially Gary's mod before there was Gary's mod. It's a really rough way of putting it. Sort of a do whatever the fuck you want, build whatever you want to build. Sort of before Blockland, before, I don't know if Roblox is like this or not. Definitely before Roblox, Blockland, before the new Lego Worlds game came out. I did play it, and it was actually pretty underwhelming. For some reason, this game is more down to earth. You have to connect everything brick by brick, as they say, individually and build it. And there is such just a much more visceral connection to you and the bricks you were building than there were in these other games that are more just shaders and fancy lighting and spewing out a bunch of Legos all over the place that really makes the individual placement of bricks somewhat meaningless because of how effortlessly you can spread them all over the place. I'm definitely coming from a position of bias here because I have some crazy rose-colored glasses because technologically this is inferior in every way. It had a lot of bugs and it did crash and I did lose a lot of my Lego creations as a result. But still, it's something I'm just never gonna forget. All right. That was it. Just took one. All right. Not arguing with that. Okay. Lego Media Creator. Wow, I heard the sound. I heard the sound in my head. I don't have a sound card, but I still heard it. That's creepy. Now, could I have sound? Could I have networking? Absolutely. It's just a matter of how many times I want to restart the computer. Okay, here we are. How fast can we move around the world? Pretty fast. Before it was pretty dang laggy when I was on the Trident with software mode. Let's take a look here. We are in software mode, but can we switch it to hardware? Hardware seems to be chugging a little bit more. But at least I'm able to switch to hardware. This controls the detail. So the software mode's a little bit better than the hardware mode just because the processor is probably a little bit better than the GPU. I think it is. Wow. Because I have a again, I have a 1.2 gigahertz AMD Duron in there, and it's probably gonna blow this GPU out of the water. So that's funny. The software mode's a little bit faster than the hardware mode, but the fact that I'm able to switch over to hardware mode is impressive. Um, so let's just leave it on hardware mode to make sure it's working. I'm used to this game running like utter garbage at like 10 FPS. Switch to software while it's playing. And yeah, that's actually a lot better. That is funny. Oh well, all that work for nothing. But we can always switch over to a different GPU. I don't know how good this Nvidia Riva is. I could switch over to the TNT2 and it'd be a little bit better, perform a little bit better, more gracefully. This was a hard. I think this might have been a very hard game to run. Not sure though. So yeah, right now we're at our current tallies are 7, 3, 4, and 1 restart attempts for each of the restarts. So yeah, I'm at this point might put a better video card in there, see if it does it any better. Not really important at this point. We have the drivers, we can get everything we want working. The point is, will it actually start up? And since we know that it can take as much as 7 attempts to start up, I mean, all you gotta do is keep restarting it, and you'll eventually be fine. So thanks for watching, everybody. In the next episode, now that we've got Lego Creator open, we're probably going to do something Lego related, and I don't mean digital Legos, I mean real Legos. And it will involve the Windows 95 machine. You can probably assume what that means. So so thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for sticking with me during this fucking insane video. I'll see you guys next time.